I got a couch stuck to the roof of my car and I cannot seem to get it off. Will I actually get it off? Find out in this video. Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at the alpha version 0.24 update. The first thing you'll notice is the interface has been completely revamped, and it's not just the main menu, it's pretty much every menu in the game. So let's go ahead and load up a place so you can see the rest of these interface changes. Let's take a look at one of the most important menus in the game, the vehicle selector. The funny thing about this new version is it reminds me a lot of the custom-made dark mode I had that actually worked surprisingly well, but it's now no longer required because the game basically has dark mode right out of the box. As for choosing a vehicle, it's pretty much the same as it was before. You just find a vehicle you like, pick it up, and just as you'd expect, we're in the vehicle. The next most frequently used menu for me was the radial menu, which is still present in the game. It's just under a sub-menu, and it works just as it worked before, no problems there. But it's not the main menu when you're driving anymore. What you see here is the new main menu. So we also have a couple of new things up here. So we have a map button, which takes us to the zoomed out version of the map, which shows you some points of interest as well as activities that you can do. So the point of interest are basically the places you could spawn at, and it allows you to really quick travel from one to the other. So we're way over here. We can very easily go all the way across the map to the building site in just a couple of clicks, and it has a nice little transition, and boom, there we are without any loading whatsoever. It's really slick and clean. I do have one very small complaint though. When you click the map button, it doesn't do that animation. It just teleports you up into the sky. I know it's a really small thing, but I just like seeing really cool transitions. Speaking of really cool transitions, let's transition over to Top 11, which is today's sponsor. So Top 11 is a free-to-play soccer management game available on iOS, Android, and most importantly, on the web browser, which means yes, I can play it on my computer. The game is played by over 240 million people in 31 different languages, and if you haven't heard about the game, let me tell you about it. So as I already said, Top 11 is a soccer management game. And the crazy thing to me is I can't think of a football game that has as much depth as Top 11 does. And that's not normally what you would expect out of a game that you can play on your phone. Just look at this. So if we wanted to make our stadium better, we go to the stadium and then we gotta choose, well, what part do we want to upgrade? And we can say, oh, let's make the lights better. And we can upgrade the lights because my stadium's not that good. We have literally no lights. So every match better be during the daytime. And of course, you actually have to manage the team itself. So I gotta decide who's on my team, how we train, what formations are we gonna use, all to become the world's best soccer team. And there are multiple different ways to become the best team because there are 4 different competitions happening every single season in Top 11. And right now, the winter craze is going on, so there are 4 events that are available for a limited time. And one of these really stands out from the others. That's the Lunar 5 Robot Challenge. And in this one, you actually go and face off against a team of robots on the moon. That's not exactly realistic, but it is interesting. So do you want to go and play soccer with your friends? Or maybe you're like me and you just want to go and beat the robots on the moon. Either way, you should definitely check out Top 11. And you might be wondering, how does Top 11 relate to BeamNG.drive? Well, look at this. It's a soccer ball bouncing in moon gravity. The only difference is the soccer ball is the size of a car, so it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Anyways, go and check out Top 11 in the link down below, and hopefully you enjoy it. Now, back to these menus, let's continue with the mods button. The mods button is the same as before, but it has a nice fresh coat of paint on it, just like the vehicle selector. And same goes for the vehicle configuration menu, the environment menu, the photo mode menu, and the options menu. The UI apps, at first glance, looks completely different. But then you start clicking around at things and you realize, oh yeah, it's actually pretty much the same as it was before. So you can still add the same apps that we had before, make a complete mess of the screen, and then when you made it completely ruined, you hit reset, and then it's good as new. Of course, we could hit the main menu button as well, but just as you would expect, it just pulls up the main menu you literally saw at the start of the video, so I don't know why I'm showing this to you. So let's go ahead and pop out of this and go to the map. So as I mentioned earlier, there's some special activities on the map, and the best example of this is the long jump activities on Utah, USA. So there are 4 of them here, and one of them seems to be pretty close to us. So if we click on it, it'll set a GPS route directly to it, and we can just drive over to there and try it out. And of course, somehow I end up being pointed in the wrong direction, so we gotta do a quick little 180 and we are off. And of course, I could just go and teleport to the destination like you've seen me do countless times before. But I feel like the majority of people would probably play it like this. I'm not really sure. So why don't you guys in the comments tell me, if you play this game, do you teleport to locations a lot? Because I do it pretty frequently because it's useful for when doing reviews for things, when you want to go from A to B really fast so you're not wasting viewers' time. But if you're just playing the game, you might not teleport that much. I have no idea how other people play it. Anyways, we're at the destination, so let's go ahead and load it up. And it tells you about the thing you're going to do. So it says long jump tunnel. You can use whatever vehicle you want. And the only requirement is that you're driving a vehicle. Although these requirements are kind of lenient on what they consider a vehicle. Because if you wanted to, you could go and be like, hey, what if I was a television, which is also new, part of this update? Can I still do the long jump? Yes, you can. It has a checkmark like, hey, you're driving a vehicle. That's good to go. And you try to do it and, well, you're a TV. It's not gonna happen. You're like, all right, we're ready to go. You hit start and that's it. That's it. You're not going anywhere. It's literally just a TV. So let's stop being an idiot and try this again using an actual vehicle. And to do that, we have to hit escape and there's the option to abandon. And then we got to make the choice. What vehicle shall we drive? Well, we want something fast and we want something that can climb a steep ramp. Now, a ramp is basically a hill. So the hill climb version of the SBR4 sounds like the perfect vehicle to use for this. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there is no way to change vehicles after you've already started the event. So it does take a second to get back into it. And this time we'll actually pay attention to what it says on the left side. Basically, there are 3 scores we can get, bronze, silver, and gold, depending on how far we go. My current high score is a gold, which I got on stream. Don't think we're going to beat that, but let's see how well we do. So we're going over 100 miles per hour, hitting the jump nice and straight. And when you hit the jump, it keeps holding the input. So it's still throttling even though I have completely let go. And I have no control over the vehicle after the flight. You just kind of let it bounce around, do whatever it wants. And eventually it'll come to a stop. And the score keeps moving after the car lands. So unlike Forza where it's once you touch ground, that's it. You could roll and bounce and get extra distance from that, which fits this game really well. With a game that's all about destruction, you want to get points while the car is being destroyed. That one, I got a silver. The only thing that kind of sucks about the ratings is since it doesn't really matter what car you use for this, just use a drag car and it's an automatic gold basically. But there are some where you're doing some off-roading and you need some ground clearance, so you actually got to think about it. Like maybe here I'm better off with something like the off-road version of the Hopper because you get that extra ground clearance while still having decent acceleration. I'll be going into more detail on all of the different events that are scattered through the maps, probably in a separate video where my goal will be to ace all of them. Now, as we drive through Utah's terrain, I want you to pay close attention to just all the small details around you, because in the update, they added physics-based rendering to most of the maps. Utah is a great example of this because everything just looks a little bit different and a little bit better compared to what it used to look like before. And unless you have a perfect photographic memory, you probably don't remember exactly what Utah, USA looked like. Thankfully, if we go to the website, there's a nice little comparison. So here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. So overall, the design is exactly the same, but it just looks better in the details. Scrolling down a little bit, here's another example of the before, and then here comes the after. They have similar examples for the other maps as well, so if you want to see those, you can go check it out in the changelog, but we have now arrived at the destination. We are now at another jump at Utah, USA. This one takes place on the dirt runway, so this is one of the ones where a drag car might not be ideal. The perfect car is a big, beefy off-road vehicle with decent speed. Something like the pre-runner version of the D-Series should be perfect for this. And of course, I could have also been a TV on this one as well, but you saw how well that worked the first time, so we're not going to do that. So we need 328 feet for bronze, 656 feet for silver, and 984 for gold. How do they come up with these very oddly specific numbers? I don't really know, but it's just funny. Like 984 feet. I'm almost surprised it's not 984 feet and 3 inches, you know, with maximum precision. Heck, 3.2 inches or something, right? Anyways, we have now landed the truck, and I can't control it at all, but it is still accelerating, which may or may not be good. I don't know. Oh, no. Stop. No, go the other way. The score is going down by so much. Oh, man. I wish they still let you do the brakes or something, because like right now, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get a great score or a terrible score. It just keeps accelerating. And because this truck is so off-roady, it's not really getting damaged or being slowed down. Like now we're all the way up to 750, 800, and we flipped over. And somehow that gets us, I think, a silver medal in the most unexpected way ever. Like, to some extent, it's definitely random. I almost want to say it might be better for maybe after you hit the jump, you can hit the brakes and nothing else. So there's no more gas, so you don't have ridiculous things like that, but you can't stop it if it starts to roll backwards or something. I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas here. Anyways, let's go ahead and go back to the mission start. Now let's take a look at some of the changes to the vehicles in this update. So there are two vehicles that had the most changes to them. That's the newer Ibishu Pessima and the Gravel 8 series. But the Moonhawk has a new configuration, which is my favorite one in the update, and that is the Donk configuration. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Donk. And if you don't know what a Donk is, well, there you go. That's a Donk. Big wheels on a cool car like the Moonhawk. And the best thing about Donks is they are amazing at off-roading. All this ground clearance and a big V8 engine, they can't be stopped. They smash right into a rock and they just keep going. Well, okay. That will stop them if their whole rear suspension just gets gripped and destroyed. But actually, I really do mean it when I say this thing is pretty decent at off-roading. Because it still is just a V8 muscle car, which would be terrible at off-roading, except the fact that it's a Donk allows it to drive like this. I mean, it is just going through this bumpy terrain without much issue at all. I'm almost certain if we tried to do this without the Donk version, we would have probably gotten stuck on a rock by now or had some serious damage to the vehicle. But right now, the vehicle basically looks flawless. I haven't seen it get damaged at all, and it just keeps on trucking. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty impressive that it actually made it all the way through there. We somehow messed up the hood a little bit. I don't know exactly when I did that, but otherwise, the car looks perfectly intact. So I think that's going to do it for Utah, USA, because I want to show you some things that are only available on some other maps like Italy. That's a great map to go to. And this is a pretty big place. You can tell because if you go up to the map and then you look through the point of interest, you'll see there's just a lot of them. Now, some of them you don't really care about. Like, for example, these ones are just the bus routes. And, well, I'm not driving a bus, so I don't really care. But if you want to pretend to be a passenger on a bus, well, there you go, I guess. There's also the time trials, which are the same ones that are already in the game. So I've already done those before. Not much to say about them. But you can't access them right now just by driving around. But then there are other things, like there are drift events, gymkhana events, and the one we're going to start with, which is a parking event. It's not very far away. That's why we're starting with that one. And to drive there, we're going to get a car that's a little bit more interesting. So we're going to go with the Ibishu Pessima, which isn't normally an interesting car, but after the update it is. So we got a bunch of new versions like the Unpalatable, which is a Destruction Derby version, the Street Tuned, which is a Street Tuned version, and then we have the Rally version, which is very highly inspired by Castrol. Just looking at that, I always think Castrol. As for the touring car version, I'm not sure on the inspiration for that one. Drag one, there is no paint job. So let's go ahead and start with the Street Tune version though, because that's the one that makes the most sense in this situation. Now, I don't want you guys to be biased, so I'm not giving you a close look at the paint job. First, I just want you to watch how it drives and be impressed by how fast this Pessima goes. Because I looked at it and, oh, it just lost its bumper. But I looked at it and I just thought, oh no, this thing's going to be terrible. It's just like some ugly racer straight out of Need for Speed Underground or something. But then I drove it and it's like, wait, it's actually fast with decent handling, and that's without the nitrous even on. So we turn the nitrous on and check out the speeds here. We could probably get up to 100 miles per hour down this straight-ish road. Yeah, look at this. 100 and it's still pulling up the hill, 105 and we're flying, and there's our stop, so we crashed into some trees. Look at the paint job. Yeah, that's a paint job straight out of Need for Speed Underground, man. It is so early 2000s. It's, whew, just looking at it, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It is what it is. But we're done with that car because now we're going to do some precision parking. On this one, the vehicle is provided, so we do not get to choose what vehicle we are going to drive on it. So on this one, we get the pickle, which was kind of expected if you were paying attention because it was the vehicle in the thumbnails. So on this one, we got some debris in the way. Do I care? Not at all. Just plow right through it and then get that perfect park. 20 points. So the way it works is the better your park, the more points you get. 20 is perfect, 15 is the next level down, and if you get anything worse than that, I just really wonder, what are you doing, my dude? Are you even trying to park right? So there you go. There's another good park, smashing the boxes out of the way. Perfect 20 points. And I do like when you load this up, it adds a bunch of props all over the place. Like there are these pallets here. The one thing that's funny though is these cannot actually be crashed through. All the cardboard boxes and cones and stuff, you can crash through those, but those are too strong. It is a little bit of, you have to have that BeamNG knowledge to know what's a prop and what's not a prop you can crash into. Oh, we better follow the GPS. Straight over the pallets. Yeah, not happening. We're gonna get stuck. Let's not get stuck. That's a smart plan. So instead, let's just go straight over the curb and up the building. Dang, GPS, you crazy. Again, I can't really do that. No, I only have 10 seconds to get to the destination. Go, Pickle, go. Pickle, please. Oh, goodness, I have no steering. Just get some points, please. Stop. Did I do it? 5 points. Remember I said it's like if you get less than 15, it's like, what are you doing? Well, there's a situation where that happens. You just want to get some points because your car can't steer at all. Anyways, that's what it looks like when you do a parking challenge. And thankfully, when you're done with those, it does put you back into the car you were driving previously. You don't have to keep driving around that pickle when you have an awesome street-tuned Pessima you could drive. Although, I am a little sick of this guy. So some of the other versions of the Pessima that I didn't mention earlier is the taxi and police one. Those are pretty interesting. If you want to do some role-playing and pretend you're a state police car or a taxi cab with the number 5555555, very easy to remember. Don't know if that's how many fives there is. I got bored of saying 5. So how about we try the touring car and we'll do a little more driving on the roads. And where are we going to drive? Well, let's look at our handy-dandy map. And then we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom because I know exactly where I want to go. I want to go to one of the Gymkhana events. So we have 3 of them here. We're going to go to the one that says Sideways Drift. And it's all the way over here. And if you don't want to drive that far, well, hey, look, this is green. You see the green right there? You click on the green and then you can quick travel to that location. We get the beautiful animation and then we are in our car ready to go in the blink of an eye. And the GPS, I don't really know what is, like, what are you doing here, GPS? You want me to drive all the way around or something just because there's a stupid red sign with a white bar on it? That doesn't mean anything. We could drive this way. It's illegal, maybe. Straight through, and you get to see some of the power of this version of the vehicle, up to 60 miles per hour before we gotta slam on the brakes and do a little 180. A little weight reduction as well as we tap the wall. Let's see if we can get up to over 100 miles per hour before we get to the destination. It should be possible. Come on. And 100, hit the brakes. Oh, we popped every tire there. Smashed into the wall. But look at that. We made it to the destination. And there are 3 missions here. So when there are multiple missions at one spot, you can just scroll through them. And these are all the Gymkhana ones, so it really didn't matter which one I picked. And we're going to go ahead and do the one I said I would, though. The Sideways Drift. There's some text there telling you how to drift, but I'm not going to read it because I know how to drift. Plus, I'm illiterate anyways, so what's the point of trying? And since I picked the training one, this one's pretty simple. It's just one drift. So you really got to nail it, and I didn't quite nail it. It's okay, but it could have been better by a lot. There we go. We got 2,483 points. Is that good? Is that bad? It's a silver, and I will take it because I was driving terrible anyways. And look at that. My car's here, just like it was before, completely in shambles. Poor thing. Let's fix it up. Well, by fix it up, I mean completely replace it with a rally version. And I promise we will eventually do some off-roading with this car, but not yet, and actually really not for a while because there are a few other things I want to do on the map first. So the first one I want to do is the one that has an ambulance in the picture. That one is called Airport Ambulance. So we are going to deliver a patient to the hospital using an ambulance. Nice and simple. So it's not that far of a drive, but we have an off-road testing section right here over the speed bump, and the tires did not pop. That is the power of the rally version. Yeah, that's totally the only reason I have it. Oh, no. Oh, no. I was getting too confident. Oh, completely wrecked it. Just kidding. It's fine. It's not fine. It's pulling to the right. How? That was barely a scratch. You're supposed to be a strong, durable rally car. Fine. Rally time. Come on. Go over the curb. That's literally the only reason I got the rally version right now. So we have 5 events here. Most of these are called Airport Chauffeur, where you're transporting things from the airport to something else. But this one, you're not a chauffeur because you're driving an ambulance. You know what this reminds me of is that old Ridge Racer game. I believe it was called Ridge Racer Type R. And it starts the game with you driving an ambulance very, very fast. You don't actually drive it, I think. It was just a cutscene. But every time I have to drive an ambulance fast, I always think of that game. It wasn't really a good game to most people, but it's a game I'll always remember. Oh, look at these fools driving the wrong way. Out of the way. I have an emergency, except I didn't turn my emergency lights on because the controls are apparently different, and I'm clicking it, and it's not turning on. I'm sorry. We accidentally wrecked that guy, and probably what we're going to need to do is send an ambulance his way because he's probably significantly hurt. I don't know where the patient is now that I look inside the ambulance. There's nobody in there. So I just might have forgot the patient. Hopefully the hospital is okay with that. I don't think they will be, though. I love being an ambulance, and when I drive, I cause such havoc more ambulances are required, and I hope they drive like me, so it's just a constant stream of we need more ambulances, more ambulances, more ambulances, until it's just a pileup of ambulances with more ambulances trying to get there to help the other ambulances, and it's just a mess of cars. Isn't that the reason why they make ambulances big and durable, so you can do things like that? If not, I need somebody to explain to me how exactly ambulances work, because I am completely confused. And apparently this ambulance can get up to over 90 miles per hour, and it's still pulling a bit. That must be because of my strategic weight reduction that I had earlier on. Or it's just making it worse because look at all this extra drag as the door swings all over the place. And probably the extra drag from the bumper hanging down low like that. It's almost physically dragging. Actually, we got a decent amount of ground clearance. It's not that close to dragging. But we need to focus on our goal, which is getting this guy to the hospital as fast as possible. Like, there's traffic in the way of my exit. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just skip this exit and we're gonna go to the next one to save time and to save lives, most importantly. Well, kind of. Alright, this is dumb. It looks like it would have been faster if I just followed those cars instead of trying to be smart and go around them. I was like, yeah, this is totally gonna be faster, and that was slower. WhyBeAre, good job. Whoops. Hey, you gotta figure out if it's faster or slower, and the only way you're gonna figure it out is if you try it out and see what happens. Oh goodness, who put this tight corner here? Tight corners and ambulances don't mix because patients fly out of them. At least mine would, because the doors are just flopping all over the place still. Yeah, I really did a number on this ambulance. And that was before we actually even drove anywhere. That's the amazing part. All this damage was basically me getting out of the parking lot. We have just lost the front bumper. It is gone, and I don't care, except I gotta look where I'm going. We can't look at the front bumper. I will crash, and if this is a 2-lane road, it ain't anymore. This is not a 2-lane road, sir! Maniac. Hey, look at where we're at. This is what happens when I write the script, I just say pick one of the 5, and then I end up picking the one that ends us up back at where we started. Whoops. Oh well. So the patient thanks me, and they say they will feel better already. That's great. Now the reason it didn't matter which one I picked here is because for the next thing we're going to be doing, I'm just going to teleport anyways because there's no real convenient way to get there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go all the way down to the slithery drift, which is over here. And now there's no green things over here, and that's just a big pain to try to actually get there. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport to the closest place, and then I'm going to just teleport the car there manually. Oh, look at that amazing animation. And I actually mean that. That is cool. And somehow I got this screen up. By the way, I'm going to have it a lot where I have this up and then I hit escape and it opens this and then I hit escape again. It opens that. I'm going back and forth between them because the controls are slightly different on how to close and open menus. And I know I will just mess that up. Now, anyways, somewhere around here is the slithery drift. Let's go ahead and show you. How would you find it? Like, you know it's somewhere over here, but you're not exactly sure where. Well, hey, look at that. There's this nice little thing. That's not what you're looking for. Don't get deceived. The real way you do it is you just go up here and say, this is close, right? So you slap the car down and you go to the map and then you look around. All right, so we got to go over here-ish. Yeah, it looks pretty close. We want to go like across the way. So this is actually one of the spots where it'd be really cool if it had the animation because you could keep your bearings. So it'd be like, whoop, and you get down here and you know, oh, the right is exactly the way I want to go instead of trying to have to guesstimate it like me. Like, I think it was to the right probably. So then you slap your car down over here and you say, hey, is that the right spot? Hit the map and it's like, yes, I'm getting closer. It's just a little bit behind me. And here you can actually just look at the lines on the road. So that is my tutorial on how to find things without actually driving. Glad you're here for it. Just trying to back it on in. This is not a good way of doing things, but we made it. Perfect. So on here we have 2 events, slithery drift, short and long. We're going to do the short one because I just finished my training for drifting. How good could I possibly drift? Not that good. As for the text I didn't let you read, it's basically just telling you, hey, go do some drifting. The closer to the walls you get and the bigger your drifts, the more points you get. Also, if you alternate between left and right drifts, you get combos which increase your overall score. Now, I haven't really done any sort of testing to figure out, yes, this is the ideal way to maximize your drift score. All I've really done is I'm going to try to actually drift realistically, and whatever score I get is what score I get, and if I don't get enough points doing that, then I'll worry about it. If trying to drift realistically gets me enough points, I'm happy. Speaking of realistic, what would happen if we jump off the cliff to try to use it as a shortcut? Well, it can work if you land it right. I'll let you guys answer this. Did I land it right? Yeah, about that. We did not land it right. And it's gonna just keep on sliding down this hill forever, man. What the heck? Alright, just be patient. Be patient. Okay, I get it. I'm falling down a cliff. It just keeps going, man. What the heck? I didn't realize it was such a big cliff I could have accidentally fallen off of. Are we gonna come to a stop? Alright. Can we somehow crawl back up if we really wanted to? Yes, but we only have 15 seconds left after spending 1 minute of the time just rolling down a cliff, so that ain't happening. Anyways, we'll go ahead and just say that's enough of that and abandon the mission. And one nice thing is, it brings us back up here in my lovely car. You'll also notice the time of day did change for the mission, and now it's back to what it was before that. So let's once again go to the map, and this time we're going to find yet another thing to do. This time we're going to do the one I can't pronounce. There it is, the one that starts with an E. And the reason I picked this one is because we can finally do some off-roading with my BeamNG. I promised you guys eventually we'll do some off-roading. And this does not count as off-roading, that's just me driving poorly. There's actually a dirt road that we can drive on that works great as a rally course if you're okay with falling off a cliff and dying if you make a small mistake, which I am okay with doing, I guess, because that's literally the only road we can drive to get to where I need to go. And just around this corner, you can see the entrance. So finally, the rally car does a rally. How fast am I going to drive? Not that fast. I don't want to fall off the cliff. And I don't actually know this road very well. It's not a road I've really ever driven on, so the sharp corners can sneak up on me just like that. Yeah, we're going to take it nice and easy. This is like a rally driver that's driving the course the first time, just trying to figure out where the corners are. And then eventually they have their co-driver saying, easy left, hard left, don't cut, over crest, all that good stuff. Now, you know my favorite rally word is, right? Over crest. Anytime they say over crest, like, let's go! As we fly through the air and crash into something. And my least favorite word is don't cut. I say, let's go! As I'm crashing into the corner and flipping upside down because, of course, I cut it. That's not on purpose. That's just because I like to cut corners. But right up there is the destination, right at the very tip top of the mountain. And we're not going to do the full thing here. I'm just trying to show you guys a good variety of different things you can do. So on this one, they provide a vehicle, but you don't get to know what it is until you start it up. And you get a quick glimpse at your car. It's a pickle. And then you get this crazy camera pan where it's like, hey, yo, you see that thing way out there? Hold on, let me zoom in. Yo, I still can't really see it, but way out there, that's your destination. It's going to take forever to drive to. Actually, it's only like 3 minutes, 4 minutes of driving. But we're still not going to finish it because I just want to go fast and reckless, and we will probably crash this thing because I should not be going 60 miles per hour. But this is how you rally, especially when you have no regard for if the car survives or not. 60 miles per hour, bouncing through the air, flying all over the place. This is real rallying. Except for some reason there's traffic in the way. Just other pickles on the road, and I don't know how they got there. This is a one-way road. Y'all come up to the top just to come back down or something, just to mess up my perfect rally run? I guess so, because there's another one. Although the guy in front, he's a true maniac. He takes an Italian supercar up a dirt road to the top of a mountain. Like, what are you, maniac? So we're going to take a shortcut right here. Don't tell the developers that I'm cheating a little bit. Doesn't matter because I'm not going to finish it anyways. I just like the fact that you can take shortcuts and the game will let you. And the only thing you got to watch out for is if you do things like that, don't damage the vehicle, because on this one, if you damage the vehicle too much, you automatically fail. And imagine that. You're driving your Italian supercar and you get passed by what's basically an Italian economy car. But you don't know that this has been souped up a little bit. But you look at it, it's like, really? This dude's going to pass me? I would never let that happen. I would crash my car before he passes me. And speaking of crash the car, why don't we go ahead and do just that? Trying to take a shortcut, but obviously there's no chance this shortcut will work. And boom. And we have wrapped around a tree. Now here's another minor complaint I have. So here you can continue with previous vehicle, continue with current vehicle, or retry. So I say continue with current vehicle, hoping I can see the damage. But unfortunately it resets the vehicle so you don't get to see the damage, which is just kind of annoying. I wish I could see what the crash looked like, but that's not the way it works. So anyways, we'll bring it back up here. And then I'm going to show you something else that you can do that's kind of fun with this car while we have it out. So we're going to do a couple of changes to it. First, we add the roof rack, and then we actually need to open up the menu to add things onto the roof rack easily. So next, we go to the load, and we add the wooden pallet. And the last thing we add is the couch. And this couch you see, that is completely new with the update, and you can equip it to just about any vehicle on the roof, in the trailer. It doesn't matter, it will go there. It's also a separate object you can spawn up as well, but I think the best way to use it is to attach it to a vehicle like the Pickle, and you can see just how amazing it is to drive with a center of gravity that's basically above the roof. You can just bounce all over the place. It is brilliant until eventually you will flip over like so. And if I did that dumb thing where I put a random clip at the start of the video, this would work great, because I could be like, I got a couch stuck to the roof of my car and I cannot seem to get it off. Will I actually get it off? Find out in this video. Spoilers, the answer is yes, I managed to get it off and we're free to drive. Now, the center of gravity is back to normal and it's once again a great rally car. That'd actually be kind of a fun, like, lemon style race where you just mount a couch to your roof and then you start to tip over all over the place. I would drive that and probably die. Ooh, that was actually a pretty clean landing. It broke some of the car, but for what I expected a lot more damage. We can even inch it forward a little bit, so we can go and quickly take a look at the 8 Series. Now, the 8 Series has a nice revamp to it, but nothing that's really like ooh and on me except the cool paint jobs on the Street Tuned and the Vandal. So let's start with the Vandal. Now, on this one, it's a very obvious A-Team inspired paint job. Otherwise, it's the same Vandal we all know and love. I just had to show you guys the paint job. The other paint job, though, that one's even better. So this one is available on the Street Tuned configuration, and it's like a knockoff mystery machine. Because you look on the side, what's it say? The Curiosity Caravan. Please don't sue us. It's not the mystery machine. Where's Shaggy? Who's driving this thing? Who let Scooby-Doo drive? All right, enough of that. Let's just stop with all the references to Scooby-Doo and all that. Look at the damage. It's damaged. Oh, and by the way, yeah, it's actually a van you could drive around that's decently powerful if you wanted to do that too. I'm just too distracted by the paint job. You guys remember when I made a mystery machine on stream in automation and I imported it into BeamNG.drive and it was absolutely terrible but absolutely magnificent simultaneously? That was a good vehicle. I should try to find the files for that if I still have it and release it as a mod or something, right? Anyways, though, that was a good job, Curiosity Caravan. But there are other more normal versions of the 8 Series we should also take a look at. So the biggest thing is we got the Mega Big Boy. This van is huge. There was not a van this big before. And look at how many seats this thing got. It's got some in the front, then some behind that, and some behind that, and some behind that, and some behind that. This is a people mover. It's just a big old van, and it's a brand new configuration. And then also, if you look at the front, it's got a new smile on it. That is the facelifted configuration that just looks a little bit more modern than the old pre-facelift version that was in the game before. But truthfully, it doesn't matter which one you use because no matter what, you're going to just truck it off a cliff anyways and then deliver the people fast. Look at this, fast people delivery right to the destination. What's the destination? Wherever the truck ends. People moved successfully. I say it's successful. You might say that's unsuccessful. Well, I will argue with you. So another fun new version is the H15 police transport van, although there is one thing that's kind of funny about this one. It says it's a transport van, but if you commit a crime on the freeway or something, they will chase you down. They don't care if they have a whole dang prison in the back of this. They're going to add you to the back. It's just funny the first time I saw them chasing me. So next up, we're going to go with another big boy configuration, but this time, let's not have any windows on it and have it just paneled out. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same as normal, just driving, but it doesn't have seats and the windows are barred off. So it's more of just a regular panel van to transport things. And again, this is a long van. To give you an idea of how long it is, look at how much road I can block if I try to do a U-turn. I can pretty much block the road from end to end. That is magnificent size. Amazing capabilities by the van. That's really what it's the best for, is just blocking roads. So it is strength. And that's about all I want to do with this van. A lot of the changes to the van are much more practical and reasonable things. It's not like the Pestle where it's like, yeah, we got Rally one, a Street Tune, and a race. It's like this one, we got the Mystery Machine knockoff, and then some other ones that are kind of cool as well. And then a lot of practical vans, which are very reasonable vehicles. Unless you're in Italy, and then in which case they're way too big. That's it for the vehicles there. We also got some new props that you might like to look at, like the refrigerator. And what does it do? It refrigerates your food. You can even like walk up to it and be like, hey, where's my food, refrigerator? And you can pull open the door like, give me my food! Give me my food! And it doesn't exactly work. Rah! But you can rip the doors off because they won't come open. I think that just has to do with the way the node grabber works when you're in first person mode. And it turns out, yeah, I'm broke and there's no food in my fridge, so game, that hits too close to home. Why you gotta do that to me? So next up, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at, don't look at the person that's just floating there, by the way. So we got the lounge set, which you already saw a little bit of, but there's also a couple of different colors on it. There's a armchair and couch version, and well, this armchair is gross. I would not sit on that couch ever, unless I want to like lice and bed bugs at the same time, but I don't really need those, so let's not touch that at all. Next up, we have another one that's the TV, which you saw a little bit of, but you didn't see how much it falls apart, because it's kind of cool, because if you take off the back end, you could do that, and then boom, you could actually see the internal components of the CRT, and it's actually pretty realistic, because that really does look like the internal part of the CRT. As for the circuitry down there, I'd never pay that close of attention, but I know that half is accurate, so why wouldn't the other half be accurate? And then the last brand new prop is the cardboard box, which is great if you need to hide and sneak around a compound or facility, and your name is Snake. Unfortunately, that's not my name, so it's really just a cardboard box that doesn't do much at all. You can break it apart a little bit, and yeah, there goes the cardboard box. And actually, I take back what I said. There's one more prop. I kind of did them out of order according to the script, so this is the wooden chair. It's literally just a wooden chair. What do you expect from it? Well, you can kind of tear it apart a little bit like so, you know, take off the cushion, and then just disintegrate the wood until it's nothing more than scraps. The chair is basically exploded, and it's now just firewood. Now, the chair is back intact, but we're done with it. We're going to do a quick thing with the tanker trailer, because this is really neat. So they now have it where the things will slosh around inside the trailer, and this is not a good spot. I'm surprised it fit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the UI apps, and we're going to add us a little thing that'll help us analyze the sloshativity of the truck. Is that a word? Sloshativity? It is now. Sloshativity. So you can see right now, all the weight is basically on the rear wheels. So you see it's like 60-40 and 0-0, okay? But then if we just kind of jiggle the truck around a little bit like so, you see how it kind of like sloshes back and forth between the two wheels? That's a lot of weight going back and forth. That's not just from like the jiggling, that's actually because it's simulating a liquid inside sloshing around. So it's now a lot more dangerous to be driving something like this fast, because before you know it, all the weight will go to one side, and then it makes it really easy to tip over. So you can see like all the weight goes to the side, and look at the center of gravity, how easy it can start to tip, and before you know it, it is gone. That's the power of the slosh. Sloshativity. It's a word. I'm adding it to every dictionary I ever buy. I'm just handwriting it into the back, because that is a cool word. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Until next time, this has been WhyBeAre, and remember, if you like or dislike this video, I'll know. I can tell by the slossification factor. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time. So peaceful until sloshativity.